Today's message is, it's for dads, but it's also for everyone. But having experience as a dad, not, a ton of experience, what I've learned is being a parent means that you think you figured something out, and then your kids grow a day older, and then you realize you don't know anything anymore. So, but this is just some things that, I've seen that I think do carry on through our life. And how many of you, I want to know who I'm talking to today. How many of you have ever felt rushed? Ever felt busy? Ever felt like, life is moving really, really fast and you're doing everything you can to, keep up, right? Okay, good. Awesome. I wasn't driving. My wife was driving, which is great, because that means I don't have to drive. She was driving to a Mariners game. We were going, Amos and Eden Grace were in the back seat. And if you know a little bit about me, if you've hung out with me, my big thing is I like, the Cars movie? My son likes it a lot. And his quote is, "Speed, I am speed," right? There's a whole rest part of the movie that I don't like because it's about not being speedy, but the speed quote is really awesome because I resonate with that. I'm like, yes, speed, efficiency, moving fast, getting things done, awesome. Well, when you're driving to a Mariners game, there's a stretch of I-90 called Mercer Island that can either be one of the most beautiful parts of your day, drive, whatever, or it can be an absolute nightmare. And we left 2.5 hours early to make it to this game because I knew that I do not like traffic. Traffic is one of those things. I don't know who created traffic. It was Satan. But wherever it comes from, however it happens, it's not good. It's not good for me. And I knew this, so I said, we're going to leave early. So we left early. And we passed 405, and my wife's driving, so we were going 60. And then we started going 50. And then we started going 40. Right around 35, my blood started tingling because I knew something was wrong. 30, 20, 10, and then stop. And I'm looking around, and everything is stopped. And we're in the HOV lane, the lane that does not stop. And we're all stopped. And I can feel the stuff inside of me start to come out. And we're going, my wife, she is amazing. Kay talked about greeting each other with a holy kiss. I found her before the gathering. That's exactly what I did. She's awesome. I love her. She's there, she's driving, she's got a smile on her face, she's had a great day. Kids are in the back, they're not crying, they're not screaming, they're content. But there's me in the passenger seat. And it's happening, right? And after about 15, 20 minutes, we've moved, I don't know, maybe a millimeter, right? It was further than that, but that's what happens in my mind, right? We don't move at all. What comes out of me is I say, this sucks. Because I'm thinking about, we've got to get to the parking place, we have to find the parking, we got to get the kids out, we got to get them into the arena, we got to get to our seats, we're going to be late, people are there waiting for us, we're going to let them down, all these things are going on in my mind. And what comes out is out loud, right? This sucks. And my wife goes quiet. Eventually, the traffic starts to move again, and it's the worst kind of traffic. It's bad because I get it. If there's a wreck and people are hurt, right, then okay, traffic makes sense. But when you get to the bridge and all of a sudden all the cars just start moving again at 60 miles an hour, and you're like, what was it, an orca? What's going on? Why did we stop? There's no reason to stop. It makes me more mad. Today, after church, I'm driving to a Mariners game. Pray for me. It's Father's Day. Because I had gotten so worked up about the traffic, about the stuff, by the time we got to the game, got the kids out, got them into the park, got them to the arena, sat down for the Mariners game, guess how the Mariners game went? It was terrible. Because of me. Because of my attitude, because how I was acting, because of the spirit that I brought into it, I missed out on a day with my family where we could have been building memories, building connections, growing together, and I wasted that entire day. My wife actually told me later, she goes, I was just connecting with you. I didn't care that the traffic was stopped. We were together. Our kids were happy. I was like, oh. But because I like to move fast, it blinded me to all the other things that were going on, all the other opportunities I had to spend my time wisely. And life is like that. Feeling rushed, always feeling like we have to go, 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 go. There's things to do. Overwhelmed, anxiousness. There's not enough hours in the day to try to squeeze in a little bit more. I'm one of those line analyzers, right? When you go to a place and you're like, which line is moving the fastest? I was told a trick, a secret for Costco that I'm not going to tell you, otherwise it would ruin it, about what the fastest way you can get through the Costco line is. And if you work at Costco, you probably know it, but don't tell anyone because, again, it'll ruin it. But someone told me, and I use it, and it's awesome. It's awesome. That's how my brain goes. But what happens when I'm rushing? When I rush, occasionally, often, when I get the thing that I was trying to rush to, I'm disappointed in it. The Mariners game, we got there, but because my attitude was so bad, it was a big letdown. I don't know if you guys have ever rushed, worked, strived, pushed aside all these other things, then got the thing that you were trying to get, and then gone, wait a minute, this didn't bring me the fulfillment that I was looking for. Dads, I feel like this can happen a lot with us because we typically find our identity in the things that we do, not in who God says we are. And so then when we do the thing and then it doesn't turn out, or we get there, we're like, oh. Tireless talk is when we're too busy for what matters. Because life is not supposed to be that way. What if I told you the greatest enemy to the life you want may be the life that you're living? And this is a really difficult message for me to preach. It's hard to give this talk because it's very opposite of how I live my life most of the time. So I'm preaching to you, but I'm talking to myself. I actually told my wife, I need to listen to my own words. I've got to do this. Growing up, I'm not blaming my dad, but I did hear some quotes sometimes. He was a hard worker. He was always there for us. Very, he'd say things like, the devil doesn't take a day off, so why should we? Right? Okay, that makes sense. I'll rest when I get to heaven. Yeah. Hopefully, you're not as dysfunctional, though, as I am, always thinking about efficiency and how we can do this faster, better, quicker. But I'm guessing you're busy. You got places to be, job to do, kitchen to clean, bills to pay, kids to raise, news to read, curated news to read that makes you angry, yards to mow, dinner to cook, clothes to buy, clothes to wash, clothes to wash, clothes to wash, clothes to wash, clothes to buy to wear one time to take a photo in and then never wear again, captions to write, soul-numbing Netflix where you spend more time trying to find the thing you want to watch rather than actually watching the thing that it is, right? My wife, that's one of hers. She's like, you better know what we're going to watch before I get ready because and then lastly, the black hole, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. What if the greatest enemy to the life you want is the life you're living? Let's take a look at the Gospels because it's fascinating. 3 years of ministry, Jesus. He embraced the mission from the Father. He recruited a heavenly team of 12 guys, and he taught them kingdom values. He endured the hatred of the Pharisees. He resisted the temptation of the devil. He healed all sorts of sick people, loved all sorts of hurting people, preached the word fearlessly, fulfilled 351 Old Testament prophecies, and Jesus never once ran. You don't read about it. He didn't skip. I don't know. He didn't walk fast. He walked. Jesus was busy, but noticed he was never rushed. He was never rushed. Never said, okay, boys, we're late, we're behind, shoot, where's Thomas? Ah, okay, just leave and we'll teach him a lesson. Jesus never once ran. Take a look at this in Mark chapter 2, verse 14. As Jesus walked along, he saw Levi, son of Alphaeus, sitting at the tax collector's booth. Follow me, Jesus told him, and Levi got up and followed him. Levi was also sitting. You see, Levi was already living an unrushed life, which meant that he was able to follow an unrushed Jesus. If we follow an unrushed Jesus, we should be living an unrushed life. If you find yourself always rushed, stressed, overwhelmed, exhausted, trying to get it all done, always falling short, look at what Jesus says. This is the Message version, Matthew 11, which is a loose translation. It's not word for word. Jesus invites you to come to him. Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me, get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. Come on. Come on. Jesus says, get away with me, and you'll recover your life. Amos, we will play games together, which is awesome. I am working really hard to have a really good relationship with him. I want to have a good relationship. I want him to want to be around me, which is interesting because when I became a dad and I saw him, there was a new type of love that I'd never felt before, for this little baby. And all of a sudden I realized something, that my parents have that same love for me. So if you are a parent of older kids who don't have kids yet, I just want to tell you that there's hope that they're going to come back around, because now I'm trying to focus on my relationship with my own parents as well, because that can get weird during teenage years and stuff, right? But seeing Amos, I go, whoa. And recognize that God loves you even more than you love your kids. When you look at your kids and that love that comes out of you, God loves you even more than that. So Amos will ask me to carry him. He'll just do this. Sometimes he'll say, Dada, carry me. And I'll pick him up. He'll put his shoulder here, his head here on my shoulder. He'll snuggle in, and I'll walk around with him. And he knows that this is time for him just to rest, just be in Dada's arms. And it's really challenging for me because it's something I should emulate with Jesus. Taking the time to say, Jesus, carry me. Slow down. Because what does Jesus invite us to? He says, walk with me. Watch how I do life. We shouldn't just believe what Jesus believed, but we should live the way Jesus lived if we want to call ourselves followers of Christ. Christianity sometimes gets a bad rap because Christians don't look like Jesus, and they go, well, if Christianity is a reflection of Christians, well, no. That's not what it is. Christianity is supposed to be a reflection of Jesus. Don't just believe what Jesus believed, but live the way Jesus lived. And as a dad, the way we behave, the way we walk, influence our kids way more than what we say. And if we want to look like Jesus, then we need to live the way Jesus lived.